Starting off our list, number 10 is Blake Shelton. He started out the year strong by facing tons of criticism on New Year's Eve when people heard his song Minimum Wage. He quickly found himself the center of controversy as people said the lyrics were tone deaf, and they said he seems clueless to the current state of the world. He wrote the love song because he got engaged to Gwen Stefani in 2020, so he said that his year was personally a great one. Some of the lyrics are, "Your love can make a man feel rich on minimum wage," and the rest of them are all about how his minimum wage lifestyle feels rich with her. Cute, but like, doesn't totally make sense. The internet immediately turned against him online, saying that he is a millionaire, making it seem like he lives a minimum wage life. They also thought it was very insensitive to the current state of the world due to obviously this pandemic. Blake finally responded to the backlash and simply said that everyone will have to agree to disagree, and explained that he related to the song because of his own struggles making ends meet in the early days of his career. I don't know how I feel about it. It's really just a song, to be honest. Like, I don't care. Up next, number 9 is Marilyn Manson. 2021 brought a lot of things to light as he was facing a handful of allegations of abuse from different women. His ex-girlfriend, Evan Rachel Wood, was one of the women to come forward, along with 3 others, to share details of their harrowing experiences of assault. His record label dropped him, and his career and reputation took a massive hit. He released a statement on social media responding to all of these claims, and he wrote, "My art and my life have long been magnets for controversy, but these recent claims about me are horrible distortions of reality. My intimate relationships have always been entirely consensual with like-minded partners. Regardless of how and why others are now choosing to misrepresent the past, that is the truth." In July 2021, reports revealed that he is facing his 4th case since the claims first started coming out. He has been sued from a former accuser and is now facing 4 different lawsuits, none of which have come to a close at this time of the recording, so we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Sliding into number 8 is Chrissy Teigen. She's normally not involved in the big Hollywood drama, but in recent months she has been the center of the biggest scandal in her entire career. It all started when Kourtney Stodden accused her of bullying her for years on Twitter and shared rude screenshots and private messages and tweets from her. Some of the tweets went too far, as she was wishing death upon her and even encouraged her to take her own life. The tweets are from the past, but people were shocked to see them and couldn't believe that she would ever behave like that, no matter when it happened. Chrissy had to step down from her role in Never Have I Ever Season 2, where she was supposed to be the voiceover role. It was later announced that she was replaced with Gigi Hadid. Chrissy was quick to apologize though to both Kourtney and her fans. She took full responsibility for her actions and said she does not blame everyone for canceling her, as her actions were wrong. Cruising to spot number 7 is DaBaby. The rapper is still facing the heat from one of his very recent shows when he made some insensitive and inappropriate comments that offended a lot of people. During one of his shows at a festival in July, he claimed that people with a certain STD will pass away in 2 or 3 weeks, and continued to make rude comments about homosexual men. Following the show, he immediately lost sponsorship deals and was removed from Dua Lipa's top 10 US hit, Levitating. At first, he started to claim that his words were taken out of context and started making further comments about it online, but then he finally later apologized. He ended up meeting with representatives from GLAAD, which is a US LGBT organization, in a virtual meeting, and apologized for the inaccurate and hurtful comments that he made. GLAAD says that he was genuinely engaged with the conversation and listened to personal stories about STDs with deep respect. So I guess he's trying to make it right. Sniping the number 6 spot is Dixie Damelio. The TikTok star and singer faced some backlash after making comments about not going to college. During an interview, she revealed that she got into college in August of 2019, but decided not to go because traveling back and forth was going to be a lot. But she further explained and said, "I was also really scared because I saw someone make a TikTok saying that they would play my songs at a frat party. That's really what turned me away from going to school, because I don't think I could handle that level of embarrassment." At first, people didn't think she was being serious, but she was. People immediately started calling her privileged and out of touch with reality. Comments flooded online saying that education is a privilege many people wish that they could be a part of, and that her reasoning for it, like not going, was just ridiculous. I mean, that's so embarrassing. I'm not going to college because people are gonna play my music. What? Okay, Dixie. Halfway through the list at number 5 is James Charles. The makeup guru took the hardest hit in his career earlier this year when 2 men claimed he had been talking to them and having inappropriate conversations with them, knowing they were underage. The claims came with screenshots of flirty messages from the YouTuber, but James says that they told him that they were 18 years old. Whether or not that's true, people said that he would know their age simply by looking at their Instagram profiles because they were posting stuff in high schools and whatnot. The worst part is this is not the first scandal that he's been involved in with younger men claiming that he was speaking to them inappropriately online. He has denied some of the claims from previous incidents, but this time he took full responsibility and shared a very long apology video on his YouTube channel. After that, he took a very long break from posting on all social media and YouTube. However, he recently made his return, and as of now, seems to be more in the clear, but we'll see. Coming into number 4 is Sharon Osbourne. Earlier this year, she permanently stepped away from her position on The Talk after getting into a big debate with her co-star Cheryl Underwood. She was kind of forced to step away though, so some people say that she got fired from the job. Things went downhill quickly when she started to defend Piers Morgan, who gave his opinion about Meghan Markle's big interview regarding the royal family and their alleged racist claims. His opinion was that he didn't believe Meghan's claims. Sharon went on the show and started defending him, saying that he has the right to speak about his views and opinion, but then that just caused issues for her because it came off like she was agreeing with him. She tried to defend herself, but it ended up just turning into this huge heated argument. Things got so intense that they actually had to cut to commercial and bleep out a ton of cuss words. The show went on a hiatus before it was announced that it would be moving forward without Sharon. The show released a statement saying that her behavior towards her co-hosts did not align with their values for a respectful workplace. Taking over our 3rd spot is David Dobrik. The YouTuber has built an empire for himself throughout the years, but everything was on the line for him earlier this year, and it still kind of is. He turned billions of views into millions of dollars in assets, but has been rapidly losing both money and subscribers after being accused of a Once the first allegation was reported, more and more allegations came out, and some of his old vlog footage has people raising eyebrows. On top of that, some leaked podcast clips show David making some very offensive and inappropriate comments. He released an apology video to his podcast YouTube account, not his main one, and muted all the comments on it. That video did not go over so well, and people went in on him even harder than they did before the video. So then he made a second apology video, which was not received well either. Some of his sponsors have cut off their partnerships with him, like SeatGeek, EA Sports, DoorDash, and HelloFresh. He took a break from posting on YouTube and social media, but recently made a return in June of 2021, and he hasn't received a warm welcoming back by any means, but we'll see. Some fans, I'm sure, will stick around. Up next, number 2 is Tyra Banks. The model found herself at the center of controversy after old clips from America's Next Top Model went viral for all the wrong reasons. Some clips showed them doing a race swapping challenge, Tyra telling a model to close the gap in her teeth, and forcing models to walk on very dangerous runways. Tyra immediately issued an apology on Twitter and admitted that she made some bad choices in the past. But things got even worse when a former contestant from Cycle 6, Lisa D'Amato, called Tyra out and said she treated her terribly while on the show. In a video posted on Instagram, she said that Tyra would use her childhood trauma against her day in and day out. She went into detail about her experience on the show and said she is breaching her contract by revealing them, but wants to warn other girls who are considering ever doing that show. Tyra never responded to her claims and just left the controversy with her first initial apology on Twitter. Earning the number 1 spot is Armie Hammer. If you missed all of the drama in 2020, it has followed the actor into 2021 and has completely put his career on hold. Disturbing claims started to surface from some of his former girlfriends, saying that he was a cannibal and that he took his BDSM fantasies too far. His one ex, Paige Lorenz, claimed that he would tie her up, use a paddle and leave her with bruises, bite her to a point of breaking the skin, and even carved his initials into her body during some kind of kinky game. That is just one example of many, and after that first allegation came out, more and more started coming. He was dropped by billion-dollar spy immediately, and an investigation by the LAPD was filed against him. But things got more serious than anyone realized, and in June of 2021, he actually checked himself into a treatment program, and sources say it was because he couldn't handle everything that has been going on. Reports claim that he checked into an inpatient facility for substance, alcohol, and sex issues.
At number 10, Bella Thorne. Do you guys remember that whole Armie Hammer scandal that happened? It feels like it happened forever ago, but it all went down in January of this year, and it was the first explosive Hollywood scandal of 2021. Essentially, it all started when an Instagram page exposed some of the leaked messages between Armie and a partner, and it exposed some of Armie's controversial bedroom fantasies. This scandal quickly became something else, but for the purposes of this video, we don't really need to get into that drama. Anyways, when all this bedroom talk was going down, former Disney star Bella Thorne came to defend Armie and what had been exposed. In the wake of this scandal, Bella made a post on her Instagram story where she said, quote, "I honestly can't believe this. People are crazy to fake this kinda ish. This poor guy and his kids leave him and his family alone. No way he's a freaking cannibal. Also, there's a million fake screenshots going around." End quote. As a result of this defense, people started coming for Bella too, calling her out for defending something that would later become more serious. Some called her out for not believing victims, and others called her out for making light of the situation, but all in all, both Armie and Bella received backlash for this. At number 9, Bill Gates. Bill and Melinda Gates made headlines earlier this year after announcing their divorce, ending their marriage of 27 years. Though their divorce was some pretty big news, the bigger headlines that people started focusing on was the fact that Bill had been exposed for his dealings with Jeffrey Epstein. Information had come out suggesting that Melinda had been making plans to divorce her husband since back in 2019 because of her husband's ties to Epstein. Melinda had apparently been very unhappy with her husband's relationship with Epstein for years, and reportedly made the decision to start the divorcing process after a report by the New York Times had linked Bill and Jeffrey. Melinda previously warned Bill about the billionaire when they first met back in 2013, however despite her forewarnings, Bill allegedly continued to meet with Epstein and defended his relationship with him, later leading him to getting exposed for their relationship when Epstein was arrested in 2019. Melinda seemingly wanted out of her marriage as soon as she realized that Bill was in too deep with Epstein, and as a result, Bill has not only been re-exposed for their shady relationship, but also for going against his wife's warnings about getting too close to him and supporting his shadiness. At number 8, Sharon Osbourne. After Meghan Markle and Prince Harry did their interview with Oprah Winfrey earlier this year, there was a lot of drama that followed. Everyone was talking about it and picking it apart, and the one person who had the most to say about it was TV presenter Piers Morgan. He picked that interview apart and made a lot of harsh comments, and that sent a lot of hate his way, but the one person who defended and supported his insights was Sharon Osbourne. On the show The View, Sharon Osbourne and one of the show's other hosts, Cheryl Underwood, got into a heated argument surrounding Piers Morgan's remarks about Meghan Markle. During this feud, Sharon backed up Pierce's comments about Meghan's mental health, and this frustrated Cheryl because she didn't like the comments that were being made about those involved. This very heated debate then got even bigger and prompted an internal investigation after it was alleged that Sharon's beliefs that had been exposed during this conversation about Piers and his comments weren't really anything new for her. Her support of the TV presenter and his controversial comments ended up affecting her career just as negatively as Pierce's, which is never a good thing for a celebrity. At number 7, Roseanne Barr. I know that everyone has their different thoughts and beliefs. No two people will agree on everything all of the time, but supporting people with an incredibly hurtful and controversial outlook on things isn't always for the best. There have been a lot of celebrities who face backlash for supporting the wrong people, like Roseanne Barr for example, and her support for Donald Trump and his presidency. Roseanne is one of the many celebrities out there who have voiced their support for Trump, especially during his presidential campaigns. In the past, Roseanne has been very outspoken about her support for Trump and has tweeted him in the past showing her admiration for him. In one tweet, the actress said, quote, "For those who wonder, back in the day I was called a liberal by journalists. I used to answer, I'm not a liberal, I'm a radical, I still am. I voted for Trump to shake up the status quo and the establishment." End quote. As you can imagine, she got backlash for supporting the former president, but that doesn't stop her from supporting this problematic person. At number 6, Chrissy Teigen. In early 2020, at the start of this pandemic, a lot of celebrities were voicing their thoughts and opinions on the global health crisis, and many of them faced backlash. From Madonna and her bathtub rant to Evangeline Lilly and her dismissal of the lockdown protocols, celebrities started facing backlash for their comments and actions, but the one celebrity who faced the most backlash in regards to their pandemic comments was actress Vanessa Hudgens. legends. You might recall her comments about people passing away due to COVID and the backlash that ensued afterwards, but you might not recall who came to support her when she was being cancelled. Chrissy Teigen stepped up to defend the actress when she was getting torn apart online and in the news. In response to Vanessa being cancelled, Chrissy tweeted her in defense saying, quote, "Sometimes people, especially famous people, are going to say some really stupid ish, and so are you, and they and you will learn from it, and hopefully their history says they're good. It's okay, and at the same time, wow, they really had a dumb effing moment, but you don't have to ruin their lives. This isn't about me this time, but it will be one day, or it'll be you. But yeah, today it's Vanessa, lol. And no, life is rarely ruined for anyone, but you are damn well trying your best. Just stop." End quote. Chrissy also ended up facing some backlash for those comments because she was seen as defending the remarks that Vanessa made, which just goes to show that supporting someone or something problematic can't always end well for you. At number 5, Chris Rock. One of the other scandals that took place back in 2020 was the drama surrounding the resurfaced video of late night host Jimmy Fallon doing blackface. The video in question was from a bit that Jimmy did back in 2000 where he was trying to do an impression of the actor Chris Rock. This video resurfaced towards the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement that exploded last summer. In response to this, fans canceled the late night show host, and he was being held accountable for his actions. Jimmy ended up issuing an apology to his fans and to anyone else that he may have offended with his actions, but one person who actually came to support Jimmy during this time was the very person that he was trying to imitate in that bit. Chris Rock came to Jimmy's defense while doing an interview for the New York Times where he said, quote, "I'm friends with Jimmy. Jimmy is a great guy, and he didn't mean anything. A lot of people want to say intention doesn't matter, but it does. I don't think Jimmy Fallon intended to hurt me, and he didn't." End quote. A lot of people were kind of shocked at how little Chris cared about what was going on and how he defended Jimmy's actions. At number 4, Andrew Rannells. I recently did a video about celebrities who really don't like late night host and actor James Corden, but it seems that there's at least one celebrity out there who does like him, because after the late night host started facing backlash for a character he portrayed in a recent film, actor Andrew Rannells came to support him. This all happened after James started facing backlash and scrutiny for the way he played his character in the movie The Prom. James played a character who is part of the LGBTQ+ community, and many of those who saw the movie said that James played into many gay stereotypes, which a lot of people took offense to. In the midst of the backlash he was facing, his co-star Andrew Rannells came to James's defense saying, quote, "In the same way that James can play a gay character, he's also given me the opportunity to play a straight character, which is not something I do all the time. As much as the director takes an actor's sexuality into consideration, I think ultimately he's looking for talent and parts, and he's given me the opportunity to play this part, which maybe another director wouldn't have cast me in. I'm very grateful for the opportunity." End quote. At number 3, Winston Marshall. Not too long ago, there was a bit of a scandal in the world of music when Winston Marshall, one of the members of Mumford & Sons, came under fire for backing and supporting a book and author that was seen as offensive by many fans. The book in question, unmasked inside Antifa's radical plan to destroy democracy, is said to, quote, "condemn the destructive rise of Antifa." When Winston took to social media to voice his support for the material and the book's author Andy Ngo, his views were seen as offensive, and as a result it caused a clash within his band as well as with his supporters. The views depicted in the book's material were seen as highly controversial, and since the musician took to supporting these ideals, he faced a lot of backlash from fans and the rest of the band, and it ended up affecting his career. It was later announced that Winston was leaving the music group permanently after a statement was released saying, quote, "I know that as long as I am a member of the band, speaking my mind on the evils of political extremism could bring them trouble. My loyalty and love for them cannot permit that. However, to remain in the band and self-censor will gnaw at my conscience, erode my integrity. By leaving, I hope to speak freely without them suffering the consequences." End quote. At number 2, James Charles. Last fall, TikToker Charli D'Amelio faced heaps of backlash for the way she behaved in a video that was posted to their YouTube channel. In the Dinner with the D'Amelios video, the D'Amelio family was sitting down to dinner with special guest James Charles, and things started to go south. Between the remarks that both Charli and her sister Dixie were making about the food that was prepared for them, and the comments that Charli made about her TikTok following, this drama just added another controversy to the TikTok's roster. But in response to the backlash that the D'Amelios were facing, James Charles came to support the family. James tweeted saying, quote, "This Charli situation is not sitting right with me. 100 million followers in 1 year, and y'all expect her to know how to be a perfect role model? Death threats because she's a picky eater, and made a joke about a milestone? 30-plus-year-olds dragging someone half their age?" End quote. James continued to defend Charli online until he eventually got dragged into the drama himself, but no one came to support him. And finally, at number 1, Kim Kardashian. Up until the point of their separation, Kim K was always seen supporting her husband Kanye West. She supported him in many aspects of his life, from his personal life to his music career, and even his problematic moments, including his controversial presidential campaign back in 2020. The most support came after Kanye had a breakdown at one of his rallies, where he said some controversial stuff about American history, his views, and even his family, and later he took that same energy to Twitter, where he sent out more messages that rubbed a few people the wrong way. But even through all of that, Kim supported and defended her husband, ensuring people that he didn't mean what he was saying. She stood up for him until she just couldn't do it anymore, leading to their separation.
And at number 10, Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson. This relationship was hard to watch because we all knew that they were moving too fast and it was most likely a mistake, but the fans still supported it anyways. The pair met while Ariana was guest hosting on SNL, and instantly they were all over each other. The pair even got engaged a few short months later, leading many to scratch their heads. But only a few months after that, the pair revealed that they were going to be ending their engagement. Ariana told Vogue in the August 2019 issue that their whole relationship was highly unrealistic. She added, quote, "I met Pete and it was an amazing distraction. It was frivolous and fun and insane and highly unrealistic. And I loved him and I didn't know him." And at number 9, Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom. This one makes me so sad because Khloe and Lamar were my favorite couple until it was exposed that most of their relationship was a lie. These two got married only 3 weeks after meeting one another because they knew they were madly in love. They stayed together for a few years and they even had their own reality show called Khloe and Lamar. But years later, the couple suddenly divorced. It was exposed that Lamar had been cheating on Khloe almost constantly throughout their marriage with countless women. The couple divorced shortly after he was found unconscious in a brothel, and even though they were separating, the Kardashians were still there for him and helped him get back on his feet. Khloe spoke about the split, saying, quote, "I never wanted the divorce to begin with, but you know, I never want him to spiral out of control, but some people need to walk down a certain path in order to heal, so I'm just happy that he's healing." And at number 8, Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. These two have been together for many years, with their relationship starting as a business relationship with Sharon managing Ozzy. But that doesn't mean the relationship has not been rocky. During their relationship, Sharon got the feeling Ozzy had been cheating on her, which he ended up confessing to. In 2018, Sharon revealed that she managed to get the truth out by Ozzy with sleeping pills. She said, quote, "I was a broken woman. He sent me an email that was meant for one of his women, then he took his sleeping pills. I put an extra 2 in his drink and asked him everything and everything came out." The couple briefly split in 2016 because of this cheating, however the two did eventually get back together and have been together ever since. And at number 7, Jesse James and Sandra Bullock. This marriage went down in flames due to infidelity caused by Jesse's insecurity over their relationship. The couple first started dating in 2003 and got married in 2005. But after only 5 years of marriage, they split in 2010 after it was exposed that Jesse had been cheating with multiple women. After the split, Jesse said the hardest thing was not being able to be with their adopted child Louis. But in 2017, he raised some eyebrows when he said, quote, "In general, both women and men cheat. It's part of life," basically making light of the cheating. However, after those comments got a lot of heat, Jesse changed his tune and made a statement saying, quote, "This has caused my wife and kids pain and embarrassment beyond comprehension, and I'm extremely saddened to have brought this on them. I'm truly sorry for the grief that I have caused them. I hope one day they can find it in their hearts to forgive me." And at number 6, Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey. After only 4 years of marriage and a reality show that brought us into the lives of the couple, these two had a messy split, and Jessica ended up filing for divorce in 2005. And from what we saw on TV, everyone was pretty sure they were going to split while watching season 3 of their show. They even admitted on TV that they didn't know as much as they thought they did about each other before getting married. A producer on the show even explained the tension between them. Nick was blue collar and frugal, while Jessica was a big spender. During a 2015 interview on CNBC's Closing Bell, she revealed that her biggest financial mistake was marrying Nick because she had to pay him $12 million. Jessica said they were fine when they were filming, but when the camera crews left, it was very tense and awkward. Halfway at number 5, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. You guys already know we had to include this one because this might be the most cursed relationship ever that is sadly still playing out in the courts. When they split in 2016 after a brief marriage, Amber accused Johnny of getting physical with her on multiple occasions. But then in 2019, after denying the claims, Johnny alleged that Amber was the one that actually was physical with him. Then shortly after, explosive audio recordings leaked that showed Amber admitted to being physical with Johnny in the past. As of now, Johnny has been losing their legal battles. He even lost a libel suit against the Sun, but he is not giving up and he's committed to having the truth revealed in court.
In at number 4, Janelle Evans and David Eason. After Janelle Evans had been unlucky in love with her 2 previous partners, many felt that David Eason was finally the man who would make it all right. The pair even got married and had a child together, but shortly after things began to unravel and it was revealed that there were a lot of problems going on in the marriage. It was discovered that Janelle had called 911 on David before, as well as revealed that he took the life of their family dog after it was aggressive with their child. After this all took place, the pair temporarily lost custody of their kids, and Janelle claimed she was going to be getting a divorce. But after things got sorted out, Janelle decided to stay with David and claimed that they would do their best to work it out. In at number 3, Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna. This has to be one of the messiest celebrity relationships ever, literally every aspect of it. Things were strange from the very beginning because there was a familial connection. Chyna and Tyga had been married and even had a child together, but Tyga left Chyna for Kylie Jenner, Rob's half-sister. Immediately the Kardashians thought Chyna pursued Rob for the wrong reasons, but over time they got used to the relationship. When the couple got pregnant, the Kardashians were in full support, until the relationship started to become incredibly toxic and things turned ugly. Both Rob and Chyna posted private conversations and photos of one another to the internet. The pair are now in a legal battle. Chyna even sued the Kardashian family for allegedly kicking her off the show. In at number 2, Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain. The relationship between this couple was incredibly volatile, not only because of their personalities clashing, but because substance use was involved. It seems that they both were a bad influence on each other, and their relationship made their substance abuse even worse. In 1992, Courtney told a story about one of their first weekends together. She said that they did a lot of and they even got high, then went to SNL while still intoxicated. When Courtney got pregnant with their daughter, they both vowed to get clean so she could grow up in a healthy environment. However, just 2 years after Kurt and Courtney got married, it was discovered that Kurt had taken his own life, although many fans speculate that Courtney was actually the person responsible for his death. And finally, at number 1, Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. Scott and Kourtney were together when the Kardashians started their reality show, but right off the bat it was clear that he was the black sheep of the family, and they all had their suspicions about Scott. Over the course of the show, we saw these two break up, make up, and get pregnant 3 times together. It was clear that infidelity was a part of the problem. Scott wanted to be out partying till the early morning, while Kourtney just wanted to stay home with the kids. Kourtney eventually called things off for good after Scott went on another party binge weeks after the birth of their 3rd child, and photos of him getting cozy with other women surfaced. Over the years, the pair have developed a close friendship and even sparked rumors that they were getting back together. But clearly things are still rocky, which we know by the messages that Scott sent to Eunice Benjima, shading Kourtney and Travis Barker, which are super weird.
Beginning our countdown to number 10 is Amber Heard. The details of her lawsuit against ex-husband Johnny Depp are probably enough reason to have her on this list. But it will depend on whose side of the story you believe. A lot of people are conflicted about their lawsuit and who they believe is telling the truth. Amber Heard has made some serious claims about domestic abuse, even though audio evidence captured her saying that she punched Johnny and that no one would believe his side of the story. So a lot of people have been against her in this court case, and they've actually started petitions to have her removed from the Aquaman 2 movie, which actually now has over 1.5 million signatures. People are more furious about the fact that there's actually evidence of her saying that she's been abusive, but that it is not being considered in court. But if people were mad before, they are going to be furious now, because rumors broke this week saying that she is being eyed for the role of Black Cat in the Marvel Universe. So it looks like people are gonna have to start a new petition. Next up at number 9 is Justin Bieber. The singer has been called problematic on numerous occasions throughout his career. Since he gained worldwide fame at a young age, he has had to grow up in the spotlight with everyone judging his every move. And a lot of decisions and behavior haven't been accepted by a lot of people. Most recently, people did not agree with the comments that he made about the Grammy nominations. The Grammy nominations list was officially released, and Justin was actually nominated for 4 of them. He's nominated for Pop Vocal Album, Pop Solo Performance, Pop Duo/Group Performance, and Country Duo/Group Performance. Immediately after the list was released, Justin posted on Instagram that he is grateful for the nominations, but that his new album, Changes, is actually an R&B album, not pop. He wrote, "I am very meticulous and intentional about my music. I set out to make an R&B album. Changes was and is an R&B album. For this not to be put into that category feels weird." People took this message as complaining, and a lot of people disagreed with his claims and said that his album is not R&B. I'm sorry, Bieber, but I'm putting that under pop too. There's no way that's R&B. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't know. Sliding into number 8 is Drake Bell. His recent behavior is only problematic because it is so confusing and random and unexplained. Drake first found fame as a Nickelodeon star for the show Drake and Josh and has become a household name ever since. But in the last year, people noticed a change in his social media presence. He changed his usernames to Drake Campana with a Mexican flag emoji. I'm probably saying it wrong, but Campana is Spanish for bell, just in case you were wondering where that came from. It's unclear if he legally changed his name to that or if it is just for social media, but either way, people are hella confused. He started making music in Spanish in 2019, but now all of his social media is entirely Spanish, and it has been for a while now. All of his captions and tweets are written in Spanish, and rumors are claiming he actually changed his name and moved to Mexico. In the past, he has posted memes of him wanting to be Mexican instead of American, so the rumors could be true. But he has not released a statement explaining anything, and maybe that is the problematic part. I just really want to know why he wants to be Mexican so bad. I'm confused. Moving on to spot number 7 is Elon Musk. He is one of Amber Heard's ex-boyfriends, and he has been brought up in her lawsuit on more than one occasion. One of the reasons being that Amber was accused for potentially having an affair on Johnny with Elon. A concierge worker at the Eastern Columbia building, Alejandro Romero, said that he saw Elon visiting her while Johnny was in Australia. He said that he would visit often around 11 p.m. and that he provided him with his own fob so that he could access the building. Amber denied these claims and said she didn't speak to Elon at all during that time. So maybe Elon wasn't totally innocent in this either if they were seeing each other. Text messages also showed Elon offering Amber 24-hour security after she told him she wanted a restraining order against Johnny. Elon's text to her said, "I would arrange 24/7 security for you. The offer would stand even if you never wanted to see me again. The radio silence hurts a lot. It only matters because I really like you." His message could be interpreted that they were seeing each other, but then she went silent on him and then they stopped. And at number 6, we have Dixie Damelio. She was actually on our part 3 list with her sister Charlie for a different reason, but in more recent times she's getting cancelled right now for some different problematic behavior. After her sister Charlie got into an online feud with Trisha Paytas, Dixie thought it would be funny to do a TikTok dance to one of Trisha's songs. The only issue was Trisha was rapping the N-word in NWA's F the Police. Dixie's plan was to call her out for using the racial slur to try and prove that she has no business calling out her sister Charlie for poor behavior. But her plan backfired and people accused her of weaponizing racism. People said that she was making a joke about racism and that it is not funny. Trisha responded saying that the rap was 10 years ago and that she has apologized for it many times ever since, and that Dixie dancing to it in 2020 just wasn't cool. People pointed out that it was a white girl using the N-word with a smile on her face to try and hurt another white girl, and that it was racism to the core. Dixie has since deleted the video and apologized on Twitter, but it seems like her apology is not going over very well. Halfway through our list, number 5, we have Floyd Mayweather. The world champion boxer holds an undefeated title of 49-0, but some people don't think he should be allowed to fight still. Throughout the 2000s, he was accused of multiple domestic violence incidents and even pleaded guilty to some of them. In 2001, he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of battery against Melissa Brim, the mother of his daughter. In 2003, he was convicted of 2 counts of battery for punching 2 female friends of Jowsey Harris, who is also a mother to 3 of his children. The charges were actually dismissed after negotiations. But in 2005, he stood on trial for felony battery charges against Jowsey after he allegedly beat her. But he was acquitted after she said that she lied to police about all of it. And then in 2010, he pled guilty to misdemeanor domestic assault and harassment against Jowsey and was sentenced to 90 days in jail. Some people believe he shouldn't be allowed to continue his career after all of this, while others say that it was all alleged and that there was no solid evidence, despite the fact that he actually pleaded guilty to some of those charges. Coming in at number 4 is Austin McBroom, the basketball player and famous YouTuber of the Ace Family channel. I could list many moments in his career where he was facing backlash for his actions. In 2019, he was being dragged by the YouTube community after assault allegations came out against him by a fellow YouTuber. He denied all the allegations and eventually just continued on with his career. But in more recent times, he was slammed after a video showed him yelling at his wife in front of his kids. His wife, Catherine McBroom, uploaded a video to their family channel of a day in the life filmed from her perspective. Their channel has more than 19 million subscribers and showcases their life with their 3 children. In the vlog video, an unedited clip that appeared to be accidentally left in showed Austin yelling and swearing at her about his hair. The clip was removed after he received all the backlash, and they went on Twitter to say that they get frustrated with each other sometimes and that it is marriage. But a lot of people didn't think that was a good excuse for his behavior. I mean, if you got to see it before it was removed, it was literally him yelling at her because he didn't like how his hair looked. No one should get that mad over their hair. Taking over the number 3 spot, we have James Franco. He has been blacklisted from Hollywood for years after he was accused of harassment and assault by multiple women. And it was hard for him to plead his case since years before that, screenshots surfaced and showed him talking to an underage girl online trying to book a hotel room with her. So to say he has problematic behavior is an understatement. But even though he is gone from Hollywood, he is still making headlines for questionable behavior. He too was brought up in the Amber Heard lawsuit after Johnny accused Amber of having an affair with him. The concierge employee who I mentioned above also said that Amber had other visitors other than Elon Musk, and James Franco was one of them. Amber denied these allegations, but CCTV footage was used in court, and it shows Amber going downstairs late at night to meet James in the lobby and go back upstairs together. She told the court that they were just talking. James continues to remain quiet on everything. Up next, number 2 is Logan Paul. He is taking some heat right now after a trend he started turned out to be a giant scam. He has set a trend in Hollywood recently for buying rare Pokemon cards, which later turned into this highly publicized Pokemon trading card game between other celebrities and influencers, including the rapper Logic. Logan was using a Pokemon advisor who had been valuing all his Pokemon cards for months on end, which had other people believe that these cards held a lot of value. Because of this, Pokemon cards prices had gone up significantly because the insane value that Logan was putting in his videos was pretty convincing. However, it turned out to be a scam and the cards were not worth what he had claimed. Logan thought he got a steal of a lifetime when he purchased an ungraded Pikachu Illustrator card, which was said to be worth $2 million, but sold to him at an auction for $234,000. But once he got the card, he realized it was fake. A lot of people actually think Logan knew the values that his advisor was claiming were not actually correct and that he was doing it for views and whatnot. Winning the number 1 spot is Sia. She's probably not who you expected to see at the number 1 place on this list because she's not usually the problematic type. But that might change depending on your opinion about her new movie coming out. She's releasing a movie called Music, which tells the story about an autistic teenager, but she cast someone non-autistic to play the part. The trailer was released on November 19th and the world went into a storm after they saw that Maddie Ziegler was going to take on the role. People lashed out online saying that the film appears to be filled with offensive stereotypes and visual effects that don't represent the autism spectrum properly. They also felt that it wasn't right to cast Maddie as the lead role. People are so mad that they've started an online petition to cancel the film's premiere, which is set to come out in February 2021. Sia responded saying that she actually tried to work with a young girl who was nonverbal on the spectrum, but that she found it to be unpleasant and stressful, in her words. She stands firm on her decision and says that her intentions are nothing but good. But I am curious to know what you guys think on this. Do you think they should cast someone who's on the spectrum? Do you think casting Maddie was, I don't know. I don't think it was meant to be like ill intentions, but let me know what you guys think. Kicking off the countdown at number 10 is Sharon Osbourne. The talk show host did a recent interview with CBS where she shared her thoughts on the lawsuit between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. She didn't hold anything back when she spoke on it and compared their relationship to the dynamic she once had with her own husband, Ozzy Osbourne. She said, "I don't know what they were using, but I know they were both drinking and it's a volatile relationship. I had a relationship like that with my husband at one time. I would give him what he gave me." Sharon has been open about her relationship in the past and how they both apparently got physical with each other. She even admitted that during one physical altercation, he told her that she was going to die and started to violently choke her. But she stayed with him and worked on the marriage. People were furious that she got involved in Amber and Johnny's lawsuit and that she's comparing their experience to hers, and they don't think that that is right. Not to mention, most people would encourage others to leave a toxic and abusive relationship. relationship. Moving on to number 9, we have Megan Fox. Her relationship with Brian Austin Green has made news headlines on a few occasions. Earlier this year, they called it quits after being together for 10 years and sharing 3 children together. Fans were shocked when she was seen with Machine Gun Kelly just a few days after the split announcement, who then confirmed that their relationship was real not long after that. But Megan and Brian's civil split has been taking a turn for the worse lately, and people are pointing the finger at Megan. A feud between them started after he posted some photos on Instagram which included their son in one of the Halloween pictures. Megan publicly wrote a lengthy comment on the photo asking why he has to post photos of their kids, and said that he is using them on social media to make it look like he is a better parent. She said, "You're so intoxicated with feeding the pervasive narrative that I am an absent mother. You have them half of the time." Brian deleted the photos, but people quickly jumped to defend him, saying that she could have handled all of that privately. Alright guys, before I continue with the list, make sure you leave a like on this video because it really helps us out. Sliding into number 8 is Jaden Smith. He was just one of the celebrities who showed up to Kendall Jenner's Halloween party this year, but his costume stood out more than the rest, and not for any good reasons. Pictures from the party surfaced online and showed him wearing a black coat with an oxygen mask. He received a ton of backlash online, but then he cleared it up and posted a photo of John David Washington from the movie Tenet, where he wears a black coat and an oxygen mask. Turns out that is who Jaden was dressing up as. But some people still did not believe him and said that wearing an oxygen mask during a time like this is inhumane. That is the word they used. Some people were firm on the fact that he could have picked any other costume, and that using an oxygen mask as a costume in 2020 is very insensitive. Personally, I didn't see anything wrong with the costume. When I saw the picture, I did not see a COVID-19 patient, but what do you guys think? Cruising into number 7 is Zoe Laverne. The 19-year-old TikTok star caused some serious controversy after video footage showed her kissing a 13-year-old boy. This relationship came to light after someone hacked her phone and leaked conversations between her and the minor, and also different videos which showed them kissing and inappropriately dancing on each other. And by that, I mean she was twerking on him. Zoe explained herself and said that they were friends who grew feelings for each other, and admitted that it was wrong, despite him giving consent and being equally as involved. Articles started surfacing saying that she was arrested and detained from her home. No one knew if the articles were true because she took a break from social media, but then she made a return not long after and started making jokes about everything. She posted a video on TikTok of her dancing and captioned it, "Me coming back to TikTok after I got cancelled for the 100th time." People were not impressed and said that this isn't about being cancelled, but it's about the fact that she actually committed a very serious crime. Cruising into number 6 is Harry Jowsey. He skyrocketed into fame this year after starring on the Netflix series Too Hot to Handle. His relationship with Francesca Farrago was the talk of the town for a while, but when they split up, she exposed him for cheating. She posted a YouTube video where she cried to her fans and explained what went down in the relationship, admitting that the breakup was all on him and that she had proof that he cheated. So his reputation in Hollywood already took a punch after that. But in more recent times, his newer girlfriend, Julia Rose, revealed that he might be dating people for the wrong reasons. For fame, basically. Julia started dating him but quickly ended things after seeing what she called red flags. She said, "It was almost a flex type of thing, almost like he was flexing a new Rolex. I kind of said I felt like he was dating me for the wrong reasons." But Harry was actually the one bashing her name online, saying that she was cheating on him with her ex Jake Paul, so the whole thing seems a bit chaotic and a little bit immature, if you ask me. Halfway through at number 5 is Tati Westbrook. The beauty YouTuber and owner of Halo Beauty has been in the middle of controversy on more than one occasion. But things got really bad recently after her business partner sued her. Tati and her husband are being sued by their business partner, Clark Swanson, for Halo Beauty. Clark alleges fraud, negligence, and breach of contract. He has been the third partner in the company since 2018 and claims that he initially owned 50% of the company, but shortly before they launched, Tati came to him asking for a greater share. According to Clark, the deal was that he would give 33 1/3 to both Tati and her husband, giving them the majority of control and leaving him with 1/3 of the company. In exchange for that, Tati told him she wanted to expand the brand into skincare, cosmetics, and other products, but that did not happen. She did launch some beauty products, some eyeshadow palettes and beauty blenders, but put them under the name Tati Beauty, which was a breach in their agreement. A lot of people have mixed emotions on if she's in the wrong or not, so I would like to know what you guys think. I mean, if it was in the contract that it has to be under Halo Beauty, obviously she's wrong, but like, she could start a second company, could she not? In spot number 4 is Noah Beck. He is one of the biggest stars on TikTok right now, but he is facing massive backlash after charging his fans to duet him in a video. If you aren't on TikTok, a duet means that you can duet someone's video and be side to side with their video as if you are doing a collaboration with them. Normally, this is completely free and anyone can duet anyone's videos, including celebrities. But for some reason, Noah started charging his fans a whopping $10,000 per duet. Fans were outraged and could not believe that he would charge for something as petty as this. And let's be real, he does not need the money. Noah did apologize while speaking to some paparazzi a few days ago. He said he feels guilty for charging such a high amount and claimed that it was actually a brand deal. He also admitted that he doesn't think anyone should be charging $10,000 for a duet. But he also wouldn't give up who the brand deal was, so it's hard to say if it's true or not, or if this is just like an excuse. In our third spot is Emma Chamberlain. A lot of celebrities use their social media platforms to encourage people to vote during the election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. But Emma chose to stay silent on the matter and shared how she just spent her days instead. Fans began to call her out, asking why she was seemingly ignoring the election, but she never made comment on it. What was even more strange was that she deleted her Twitter account right after it was announced that Joe Biden had won. People thought it was too big of a coincidence, and not long after, screenshots surfaced showing the voting database, and Emma is a Republican. People began attacking her online, calling her a Trump supporter, while others tried to point out that it could be a different Emma Chamberlain, or the screenshots could be fake from that database. She ended up posting on Instagram to try and clear up the rumors, but instead she just left her fans more confused. She told her fans to just celebrate the day and come together, but never denied or confirmed if she was a Republican voter. I'ma keep my mouth shut on anything political. Taking over our number 2 spot is Kendall Jenner. The Kardashian/Jenner sisters are making a lot of headlines during the COVID-19 pandemic for doing things that other people in the world are prohibited to do. Kendall decided to throw herself a birthday party despite the COVID-19 numbers rising drastically in the US. Photos and videos surfaced online that showed her partying with friends, family, and even some other celebrities. None of her guests were wearing masks, which made people even more frustrated, but what people hated the most was that she had signs at her party that asked her guests not to post any photos or videos on social media, clearly trying to hide the fact that she had a party. She was facing a ton of backlash for her decision, but she never commented on it or apologized for it. Instead, her mom, Kris Jenner, came forward and said that everyone was tested for COVID-19 before going into the party and that they made sure it was a safe environment. Making his way into number 1 is Jeffree Star. The beauty guru just launched a new eyeshadow palette called Blood Money, and he was not messing around when it came to the big reveal. He's always been known for going all out when it comes to his makeup products. The Blood Money palette is all green toned, so he filmed a crazy video to go with the theme. The promo YouTube video was him posing in front of his $14.6 million mansion with a 10-foot alligator and tons of money flying around, of course. So fans were excited for the big reveal. But when they finally saw the reveal video, they were disappointed because they didn't feel it matched all the promoting that he did for it. During the video, there were bits where he would speak to the camera about the product and do swatches of the makeup. Fans started commenting saying he had no energy and the video came across very dull. He ended up admitting to his fans that he was having a bad day when he filmed it, but fans weren't very forgiving. They said his whole reveal seemed like an infomercial on TV and that it came across like he was just trying to sell his products. Beginning our countdown list to spot number 10 is Rihanna. This one surprises me a lot because she is not usually one to make headlines for being the center of a controversy or scandal. But recently people have called her out, saying that some of her songs were disrespectful towards the Muslim community. Some fans online started calling her out for a song she used during the Savage X Fenty lingerie fashion show because it included sacred Islamic verses, and includes a remix of a hadith narration about the end of times and Judgment Day. The hadith is a written record of the sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad and is considered extremely sacred to Muslims. The fashion show included an apology with CNN and agreed that they should not have used it. They even said the tracks are being replaced and the show is going to edit it out. Rihanna also issued an apology on her behalf and apologized, saying that it was a careless mistake. But fans are saying that this is not something that should be let go. I don't know, to me I don't think it was meant to be problematic, but then she realized that it was, and she apologized. I'm just trying to be optimistic about everything nowadays because people are coming in hot on YouTube. Coming in next, number 9 is Dr. Phil. A lot of people would agree that he's done a lot of good things for people, but because of his platform as a doctor and a celebrity, he has to be careful with what he says and does. He caused a big controversy in recent times when he compared the COVID-19 deaths to car accidents, pool drownings, and smoking related illnesses. He was doing an interview with Fox News and said, "The fact of the matter is we have 45,000 people a year die from automobile accidents, 480,000 from cigarettes, 360,000 from swimming pools, and we don't shut down the country for that. And yet we are doing it for this, and the fallout is going to last years because people's lives are going to be destroyed." Now, he did say this near the beginning of the pandemic, and later he admitted that he misspoke and used some bad examples to make his point. But he caused a lot of damage online because it caused a storm for those people who had lost loved ones to this virus and those who felt that it was more serious than he was promoting at that time. He's putting his foot in his mouth now. Sliding into number 8 is Nikita Dragun. The beauty guru is always in the middle of some kind of drama, and the most recent controversy came after she asked her millions of followers which race she should be that day. Probably not a good question to ask people. People have called her out in the past for blackfishing after darkening her skin tone to a point where she looks like a completely different race. Nikita has explained that she is mixed race, saying her mom is Mexican and her dad is Asian, and denied artificially darkening her skin tone. She decided to make a joke out of these claims and tweeted out, "What race is Nikita gonna be today?" She immediately faced backlash from fans and even other influencers. A fellow black YouTuber, Nima Tang, tweeted back at her saying, "This shit is not funny." After seeing the backlash, she ended up saying she's tired of having to defend herself every day, but people said she wouldn't have to if she didn't make comments like this one. Or jokes, as she called it. Those are all the pictures. Making her way into number 7 is Amanda Bynes. She's been very problematic in the past, but I think there's a lot of us who are hoping she will get her career back on track. I know I am. She's had an ongoing struggle with drugs and mental illness, which has landed her in rehab centers and also in trouble with the law on a few occasions. Her online behavior has also been problematic in the past, like the time she started tweeting out horrible things about other celebrities, and even gave out disturbing and personal information about her own father. But she recently just made a comeback online, and people are curious how things are going to play out. I personally hope she's in a better place now and she can finally make this epic comeback, but people still have their doubts and concerns. She posted a new photo to Instagram rocking a totally new look and a new Instagram handle. It is now called Matte Black Online Store. Her lawyer recently said she's in the process of earning her bachelor's degree from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, and said she is thinking of launching a fragrance and clothing line. Next up at number 6, we have the Nelk Boys. If you don't know who they are the guys behind the popular frat channel called Nelk Boys. But their content has been problematic on more than one occasion, and last month YouTube stepped in and demonetized them, which means that they cannot make money on their content when you're demonetized. They got in deep trouble with YouTube after throwing huge parties at Illinois State University, which went against COVID-19 regulations. Some videos even showed them protesting against COVID protocols and encouraging their followers to ignore the restrictions and party. A spokesperson for YouTube released a statement saying they are violating YouTube's creator responsibility policy and believe they are creating a widespread public health risk. They were only suspended from YouTube's partner program temporarily, temporarily though, and they still continue to push the limits with their content. They're still out there partying is what I'm trying to say. And filming it. And making money from it. Halfway through at number 5 is Tana Mongeau. You can be a huge fan of hers and still admit that she's always putting out fires in her career with her wild actions and behavior. The most recent issue came after YouTube took away her verification, which is a huge deal for any YouTuber and means you have done something big to deserve that. Well, Tana tweeted out to her fans that if they sent her proof of them voting for Joe Biden, then she would send them a nude photo for free on her OnlyFans. Oh, that's such a Tana thing to do. People started accusing her of breaking the law because this could be considered as vote buying, which is a felony under federal law. Tana denied that she committed election fraud and said she was being sarcastic. She told Insider, "Obviously, no one needs an explicit photo of me to go vote and make a change in our country." She said that she never sent any photos to those who voted and that it was all just for fun to encourage people to go out and vote. But what do you guys think? I don't know if I'm buying that. I feel like she might have sent some pictures out and didn't realize that, you know, it was like a law. Sniping the number 4 spot is Trisha Paytas. I honestly don't even know where to begin when it comes to Trisha Paytas. All the headlines I see about her are all very negative scandals that she's involved in. I honestly never see good press for her. She has caused outrage online many times, like the time she offended the LGBTQ community after claiming she's transgender because she is attracted to other gay men. She said, I quote, "I like guys, but I also identify as a guy if that makes sense." However, she still flaunts her female body parts, goes by her birth name, and uses female pronouns. Speaking of body parts, she recently found herself in another online storm after posting completely nude photos of her private parts on Twitter. Like literally, you see everything. I don't even know how it's allowed. Her behavior has always been very reckless and spontaneous, and most of the time, problematic. Yo, she posted her bare butthole. I'm not kidding. Like, how is that allowed on Twitter? I don't have a Twitter anymore, so I don't know. But she spread her cheeks and posted this photo, and it's like up there and it's live and like disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I don't ever want to see that. In the 3rd spot is Khloe Kardashian. The reason she is so problematic is actually a little bit ridiculous, but it can be understanding when we realize just how damaging her actions can be. She's not one to get involved in a lot of Hollywood drama, but recently people are having an issue with how much she's altering her images and appearances online. She was first caught for heavy Photoshop when she posted an Instagram picture and then did an interview for Keeping Up with Kardashians the same day, which exposed how different she looked in her edited photo. But in a more recent photo, fans started accusing her of blackfishing and said that she looks like she is doing a Beyonce cosplay. Realistically, there's no denying that Khloe does look like Beyonce in this new look. The only reason people have such an issue with it is because all the editing and Photoshop can be very damaging on the beauty standards in our society, especially her younger fans. Probably the reason why I use fake tanner half the time. I see people looking tan online, I'm like, ooh damn, that looks good. Coming in to number 2 is Kanye West. All of his behavior in recent times has been extremely problematic, but people are sympathizing with him a little more since reports have said he is struggling with mental illness right now. He's gone on some pretty epic Twitter rants recently where he bashed his own wife publicly, posted a video of himself urinating on one of his Grammy Awards, shared photos of his confidential music contract, and tweeted out Forbes' personal contact information. On top of his personal life drama, he's also trying to become the next president and is doing anything he can to get elected. He recently shared an ad where he is encouraging his fans to add him into the election as a write-in candidate on the ballots. He then filed legal documents to lock down the rights to his campaign slogan, God Save America, after sharing that he believes God will make him president and he wants to bring faith back to politics. Of course, with everyone sharing different beliefs, it has caused a ton of controversy. It's hard to say what his next move will be from here, which is why most of his moves are problematic. They They just seem to be very bizarre and spontaneous these days. Next up in the #1 spot is J.K. Rowling. I don't think anyone ever thought the Harry Potter author would cause so much controversy and drama in 2020, or ever really. She's not normally one to make bad headlines, but she has been facing a ton of backlash for comments that came off as transphobic. She wrote an entire blog about her feelings on sexuality, and a lot of people were hurt by some of her remarks. It also did not help her case after she recently promoted a store that sells anti-trans merchandise, some of their items saying trans women are men and woman is not a costume. The website is called Wild Women Workshop and is run by a founding member of an activist group called Get the L Out, which calls gender transitions a form of rape culture aimed at lesbians. So obviously, J.K. Rowling promoting this website on her social media is definitely problematic for a few different reasons, most of them being very obvious, and I don't think I have to explain why. Kicking off this countdown list, number 10 is Charli and Dixie Damelio. The TikTok stars and sisters are under fire after a YouTube video was posted on their family's channel. The video was the first one of a series called Dinners with the Damelios, and it featured the sisters and their parents eating a meal prepared by professional chef Erin May. In the video, Dixie starts gagging and even leaves the table to throw up after trying some of the seafood. Then later on in the video, Charli is seen talking about how she wants dino chicken nuggets instead. The video had over 8 million views, with the majority of comments calling them disrespectful and ungrateful. Soon enough, the entire Twitter universe and TikTok was calling them brats. Dixie ended up responding in a video where she said the video was taken out of context and that they know the chef well and always joke around together. She said the chef and the camera crew actually set it up for her to eat that because they knew that she would freak out and throw up. Some people are not buying her excuse though, and Charli has lost over 500,000 followers since that video went live. Up next, number 9 is Conor McGregor. The UFC fighter recently announced he is ending his retirement early and will be returning to fight on January 23rd. He remains the biggest star in the sport despite retiring for a third time in 4 years and only being 32 years old currently. He's also one of the few fighters who end up in the media all the time for starting drama or having a complete public meltdown. There's been a few occasions where fans have tried to take photos of him, but he ends up in a rage and just smashes their phones instead. Back in 2019, he was charged with strong-armed robbery and misdemeanor criminal mischief after he took a fan's phone from his hand and then smashed it on the ground. This was not the first time something like that happened. He actually attacked a bus containing rival UFC fighters and had to go to court for that too. He was ordered by the court to have anger management training and perform 5 days of community service. I think all fighters should have to go to anger management. It's a very angry sport. In spot number 8 is Max Ehrich. You have probably seen him in headlines recently for being Demi Lovato's fiance and then ex-fiance, all in a matter of 6 months. The two of them got together during quarantine and were only together for a few months when they announced their engagement. Everything seemed great, and from the outside looking in, they looked really happy. But after just a couple months being engaged, reports started surfacing saying that the two of them had split. Their split was super dramatic, but it was all on Max's side. Demi simply deleted their photos together from her social media and didn't make comments about it to the media. Max, however, he allegedly tried to contact all of her friends and family, staged paparazzi photos of him crying on the beach where they got engaged, and publicly slammed her on his live streams. There was a point where articles actually reported that Demi had gotten her lawyers involved because he would not leave her alone. She recently appeared at the People's Choice Awards where she made a joke about getting engaged and unengaged during quarantine, and Max responded online by commenting on her photos and posting a photo of him shooting the middle finger. Sounds like a classy guy. Sliding into number 7 is Scooter Braun. Probably heard about the legal battle Taylor Swift has been going through with this record executive. He works with some of the most popular artists in the world, and Taylor Swift was once one of them. But then Scooter started holding her music against her when she wanted to move forward from working with him. He legally owns all of her master recordings from the last decade of her career, and she's actively actively been trying to purchase them back from him, but has been unsuccessful. Because of that, she hasn't been able to perform those songs without his permission. It was recently announced that he had sold her master recordings, videos, and album art for $300 million without her knowing. This was actually the second time that it was sold without her knowledge. Taylor talked about it in a recent tweet where she posted a screenshot denying to working with the new company, who was still affiliated with Scooter, and said she has already started re-recording her old music. She actually plans on re-recording all of her old songs so that they will be hers and her old ones won't hold as much financial benefit for Scooter down the road. Although I feel like they might still. They were the originals. Making his way into number 6 is Jake Paul. I'm not sure where to begin when it comes to Jake Paul, since his whole career has been one controversy after another. He is still wildly successful despite the fact though. Do I start with his fake marriage to Tana Mongeau, or the time that his house was investigated by the FBI and firearms were found, or all the other times that he publicly called out other celebrities and exposed private screenshots on social media? His career started on the Disney Channel and then turned to YouTube full time, where his neighbors kept calling the cops on him for the crazy videos that he would film all the time. It's basically been one thing after another for him, and in recent times he started boxing, so now he is always calling out other fighters online and exposing screenshots to try and ruin their reputation. I feel like all fighters do that though, like they're always publicly fighting with each other and calling each other out because it like raises the tension of the fight. You know? Halfway through our list, at number 5 is Belle Delphine. Cosplayer has a very successful career on YouTube, but she caused quite some scandals online after selling her bathwater and possibly even her urine. Back in 2019, she announced to her fans that she would be selling her bathwater. She announced it on her Instagram, writing, "I am now selling my bathwater for all you thirsty gamer boys." The jars of the bathwater actually went up on her site and was listed at $30 per jar. She called it Gamer Girl Bathwater. Many people were confused and a little bit grossed out, but there were also a lot of fans who purchased the product. So it may have been like a genius business move on her end. But then reports started saying that she was selling a jar of her urine for $10,000. People didn't know if it was a hoax or not because it was up on her website and included a description that said one lucky cutie fan would receive it and that it is only for sentimental purposes, not consumption. But then other reports said that that site was actually a replica of hers and she wasn't actually trying to sell her urine, so we're not really sure, but the bathwater is enough for me. Sniping our number 4 spot is Tory. He is the rapper that allegedly shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. The story came to surface recently after an incident that happened back in July in Hollywood Hills. Tory was riding in an SUV with Megan when he got into an argument with another passenger who was with them. The argument led to Tory firing off some bullets, and a few of them were at Megan's feet as she was trying to get out of the car. Megan shared the graphic images from her injury and even shared the text messages that Tory sent her while she was in the hospital apologizing for what he did. But then recently he pled not guilty for the charges that he is facing related to the shooting. In October, he was charged with various felony counts including assault with a semi-automatic firearm, personal use of a firearm, and carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle. He appears in court on January 20th, 2021, so we will see how that goes. Although he literally has, like, he apologized for shooting her and then he's pleading not guilty. In our 3rd spot is Chris Pratt. This one will just depend on what you personally believe. I never saw the actor to be the controversial type, and he's never been one to get in petty celebrity drama, but the Guardians of the Galaxy star has been facing tons of backlash after one tweet started trending where people had to choose which Chris was the worst one. Amy Berg tweeted, "One has to go," and attached photos of Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, and Chris Pine. The innocent joke turned serious real quick after actress Ellen Page called him out for supporting a religious organization that reportedly discriminates against the LGBTQ community. The organization is called Hillsong Church, and in 2015, the senior pastor wrote in a post that the church welcomes all people but does not affirm all lifestyles, including the gay lifestyle. On top of that, people also exposed the fact that he might be a Trump supporter. He didn't attend the recent virtual fundraiser for Joe Biden, which was attended by all of his other Avenger co-stars. He hasn't openly said he voted for Trump. He's actually remained very silent on political views used during this election, which has also made people believe even more that he did vote for him. This is all he said, she said, so it's up to you. Cruising into number 2 is Offset. The rapper has had a lot of haters in recent times because he's been caught cheating on his wife, Cardi B. She filed for divorce recently after he was allegedly cheating again, but then she dismissed the divorce and said she's going to continue working on their relationship. I think we can all agree that someone who continues to cheat on their wife obviously has problematic behavior. On top of that, he was recently arrested while driving through a Trump rally and Instagram live streamed it. The cops pulled him over and said they received reports that he was waving a gun outside the window of his car. He refused to get out of the car after they asked him to, so eventually the cops removed him, and at that point the live stopped streaming. Later on, the Beverly Hills Police Department tweeted a statement that clarified Cardi B's cousin, Marcelo Almanzar, was in the passenger seat of Offset's car and he was the one arrested for carrying a concealed weapon and also carrying a loaded firearm in public. However, even though it wasn't Offset who was holding the gun, he was still in the car and like a witness to it, basically. He knew what was going on. Taking over our number 1 spot is Lil Wayne. He's been quiet for the last while, which is why people were shocked to see him on stage with Donald Trump during his campaign in the recent 2020 election. But the backlash he received from that is nothing compared to what he is facing now after facing serious legal charges. 10 months ago, he was involved in a firearm case in which a handgun was in his luggage on a private plane. But only a few days ago was it announced that he was charged with gun possession and could face up to 10 years in prison if he is convicted. He was charged with criminal possession of a firearm and ammunition as a prior felony offender, so things are not looking too good for him. However, his lawyers are insisting that he did not use the firearm in the incident. They said there is no allegation that he ever fired it, used it, or threatened to use it. There is no allegation that he is a dangerous person. But back in 2009, he pleaded guilty to a felony gun charge as part of a plea deal, so we're not really sure what's gonna happen this time. Kicking off our countdown, number 10 is Gabby DeMartino. The 25-year-old YouTuber was suspended on OnlyFans recently after she shocked her viewers with disturbing content that involved a video of a child, which was actually her as a child. She was charging her fans $3 to view a video of her flashing the camera when she was just a young girl. People were confused with the content and it prompted serious concerns that could lead to getting arrested. People immediately started questioning if they were set up to view, possess, or distribute what they would refer to as CP. When I say CP, this is an acronym that we use for certain words because we can't say it on YouTube. In the United States, this is a Class D felony, so she could be in big trouble. She was immediately banned from the app and has not been charged with any crime yet at the time of this recording. She did apologize after the incident and said the video was meant to be funny. She explained through a tweet and said, "A childhood video of me on the phone saying, 'Nanny says put your panties back on,' and jumping up and down laughing. I'm sorry I didn't think that one through. Period. A home video I love to share with my friends, and I use my OnlyFans as a Finsta page where I share stuff as I would with friends." Up next, number 9, we have Cyrus. The singer faced a ton of backlash recently after she tried sticking up for a fellow singer, Harry Styles. He was getting criticized after he posed on the Vogue cover in a dress, and Noah wanted to defend him and voice her opinion on social media. She shared one of his Vogue photos to her Instagram stories and wrote, "He wears this dress better than any of you nappy ass." Not only is the word nappy a very derogatory term for an entire race, but she was responding to Candace Owen, who had come after Harry for wearing this dress. After receiving a ton of hate online, Noah apologized and said she didn't know that nappy was a derogatory word and said that she thought it meant that they were tired. She said she was mortified that she used that word and explained, I quote, "I used a term without knowing the context." But a lot of people did not believe that she didn't know what the word meant. She may not have been trying to offend anyone. Honestly, I think it's up to you and what you believe on this. But I do find it hard to believe that she thought that word meant tired. Rolling into number 8, we have Joe Exotic. The Tiger King has been behind bars serving his 22-year sentence after being found guilty on 2 counts of murder for hire, 8 counts of violating the Lacey Act for falsifying wildlife records, and 9 counts of violating the Endangered Species Act. Reports confirmed that he had killed 5 innocent tigers and a horse and used them as food for the other tigers at his zoo. And we all probably know the famous story of him trying to hire someone to kill his enemy, Carol Baskin. But now he is asking for pardon by President Donald Trump before his term ends. His legal team is hoping that he will be considered after submitting a 257-page pardon application back in September. But recently, he actually reached out to Kim Kardashian, who is known for helping people out of prison when they deserve it, of course. In his letter, he asked her to telephone Donald Trump to speed up his case and said, "No one even has to know you did it." Now, his attorney said that he believes they are very close to receiving a presidential pardon, which a lot of people are not agreeing with since he was found guilty. How desperate you gotta be writing Kim Kardashian a letter. Making her way into spot number 7 is Bad Baby. The young rapper was cancelled earlier this year after she went on Instagram Live back in April and said some racist comments. At that time, she was being accused of blackfishing in some of her photos, and on her Instagram Live, she was defending the fact that she was not trying to be black like people were saying, and asked the question, who wants to be black? For obvious reasons, a lot of people were offended by her comment, and she did not care to apologize. Since then though, she has taken a break from music and even went away to receive treatment after going through some personal hardships. She recently addressed all the issues back from April and officially apologized in a video saying that she never meant to offend anyone. There is no denying that her behavior was incredibly problematic and wrong, but I do have to give her some credit for apologizing and trying to make it right. It was all these months later, but that would still be a hard pill to swallow for her. In spot number 6, we have Lil Yachty. The Grammy-nominated rapper was taking the heat after he brought TikTok star Addison Rae into some of his lyrics. Addison is only 20 years old and is one of the biggest stars on the app. In one of his songs titled E.E.R., he raps some lyrics that objectify her in a sexual way, and her fans were quick to call it disrespectful and disgusting. The lyrics say, "I want Addison Rae to become my doctor and check on my privates, put her in a skirt and a scarf like a pilot." And then it gets raunchier, and I cannot say the rest on YouTube. But not only were her fans upset by this, so was Addison's boyfriend, Bryce Hall. The two men started having beef online, and it escalated for a bit before they decided to pair up on the Nelk Boys Twitch stream and talk it out. On the live stream, Lil Yachty apologized to Bryce for the lyrics, saying he understands why he would be upset by the lyrics, and said that he wrote it before they even started dating. He also said he was cool with Addison Rae, who never commented on this, by the way. It was just her boyfriend. Halfway through our list, number 5 is Letitia Wright. The Black Panther star has vanished from all social media after people started a trending hashtag cancel Black Panther 2. The reason that was trending was because she posted a video on social media which questioned the legitimacy of the COVID-19 vaccine. The video actually came from the YouTube channel On the Table, and not only questioned the vaccine, but also accuses China of spreading the virus and includes comments. She tweeted the link in a video with the prayer hands emoji, but after seeing the backlash, she quickly deleted it. Side note, YouTube has removed this video from the platform, so we cannot actually reference it. Since then, she has disappeared from all social media platforms, completely deleting her accounts. But she did apologize before doing that and said, "My intention was not to hurt anyone. My only intention of posting the video was it raised my concerns with what the vaccine contains and what we are putting in our bodies, nothing else." Even her co-star, Don Cheadle, said that he would not defend her posting it, but also said that he wouldn't throw her away because of it. Are people overreacting? Maybe a little bit. I think everyone can think whatever they want about the vaccine. However, that video was very and weird. Coming in at number 4 is Danielle Cohn. The online influencer and musician has taken a lot of criticism ever since she rose to fame back in 2016. People have always speculated about her age and have expressed concern about her very sexualized social media presence. Documents show that she's only 14 years old, but her content would appear that she's much older. She once made a YouTube video with her then boyfriend and pranked their families, telling them that she was pregnant when she wasn't. Of course, she also pranked her fans too, since they didn't know that it was just a prank. Then, back in July of this year, audio footage was leaked online of her mom saying that Danielle had an abortion. So Danielle opened up about it on her YouTube channel and confirmed the audio was real and that she did have an abortion earlier this year in January. Obviously, people are very concerned with her relationships at such a young age, and also how her influence on other young girls could be very problematic. In the 3rd spot is Kourtney Kardashian. This will all depend on whether or not you personally find this behavior problematic. It has been a very big debate online for months now, and a lot of people do not find it appropriate. People started raising eyebrows eyebrows when Addison Rae and Kourtney were posting photos together in bikinis and hanging out every day as friends. Why it seemed so strange was because Addison being 19 at the time and Kourtney being 41, people didn't understand their friendship. Fans started pointing out that their sexual bikini pics were inappropriate and that Addison is closer in age to Kourtney's oldest son. Comments flooded their photos together asking what they possibly have in common with such an age gap between them, but that never bothered the two of them. They still continued to be best friends, and Kourtney recently announced she will actually be showing up in Addison's new movie coming out, the He's All That remake, which a lot of people are finding really weird. At number 2, we have Nate Robinson. I can't be the only one who thinks this whole boxing thing is kind of becoming a joke. Sure, it is entertaining seeing some celebrities try and fight some legendary boxers, but I feel like the entertainment factor is being taken away from the actual sport. And Nate Robinson is just a prime example of what happens when non-boxers get inside that ring. If you missed the fight, Nate Robinson fought Jake Paul before the big Mike Tyson fight, and he got knocked out within the first 2 minutes of the fight. For months, we saw Nate talking smack online, saying how he was gonna knock Jake out and blah blah, and then he was brutally knocked unconscious and ended up needing medical attention. And now, famous YouTuber and Jake's older brother, Logan Paul, just confirmed that he will be fighting Floyd Mayweather in 2021. I feel like this shouldn't even be allowed at this point. People are going to get hurt. I understand that it's entertaining and I want to watch it, but it's completely taking away from the sport, and a lot of people are not happy right now that non-boxing celebrities are allowed in the boxing ring. In our number 1 place, we have Stephen Bear. Anyone who watched MTV's The Challenge would know him just as Bear and not Steven. The MTV star is facing some heat right now at the time of this recording after it was recently revealed that he had secretly taped his ex-girlfriend during sex and put it up online without her knowledge. MTV star Georgia Harrison posted on her Instagram that Bear has CCTV cameras around his house that go directly to his television and phone, and had set her up in a way that their intimacy would be caught on camera very clearly. Fans started screen recording their phones and sending it to Georgia, showing that he posted it on his OnlyFans account and also sent it to some of his friends. She was seen crying on her Instagram stories, and the only thing Bear has to say is that it is not true and that is a bunch of silly rumors. He also mocked Georgia's crying videos and called the whole thing dumb. Georgia has brought the issue up to OnlyFans and asked them to ban him from using the site. She also said that she would make sure that Bear is behind bars for this. So we do have to wait and see what happens.